Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ndisco's Village Meeting Podcast. This is your hostess, Dr. Marcellina Ndidi, M.OPARAOJI, warmly welcoming you to today's episode um, 32 of Series 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening from or watching. We thank you for being here. How on that day? Welcome. So we are still on our Africa society and culture overview or overlook or outlook. But today we continue the topic we started in episode 31. And this is all about mothers who have careers, who are educated, who have skills, and who are working. And that's one aspect of it, who decided to do it all. And we talked about the triumphs and the challenges that they meet along the way. And we also talked about how to cope with um, those challenges that they encounter if they decide to do it all, like some do. Um, and also the way to think about it before they go in. And I added that because of the young ones who are now young career or professionals who are contemplating on getting married. And they should think about this, talk to their significant other or whoever the potential husband or wife will be. Is this what we want? Especially the mom, the women. Talk to whoever it is that come. This is what I want. This is what we do. Do we agree on this? Because it's also bound to be a source of conflict if both people, that's not what they want. And one person wants everybody to be home and all that. So it's actually an ongoing decision because things change every day. So we talked about that. So today we are flipping the coin and we are going to look at those people who decided they they are well educated, they have great skills, but they want to stay home. They decide to stay home. And this is where this group of people have pivoted from a career or profession or skills that they have to full-time caregiving of their families. Let me tell you that this is a complex situation. People don't even understand many how complex that is, how deeply personal of a choice it is. So today we are going to look at their triumphs and challenges as well. What kind of victory does it bring to these people? And what kind of intense pressures that these women who embark on this kind of journey they go through. Okay. So let's go back to talking about that. Now, why do people do that? Why do people decide to stay at home? Moms, women who they have children, they are married. So just like the first one we did, they have children, they are married, they're educated and all that, but they decide to work outside of the home. These or work remotely, but they are working. They are carrying out on with their careers and professions. But the ones we're talking about today, they decide they're not going to do anything with their professions, with their skills, with their knowledge, as far as the workplace is concerned. But they are going to, like pivot all that energy or that knowledge towards building their homes and supporting their families. So why do some do that? Some do that because of what some call value realignment. Okay. Um, This is where they look at all the things they learned in school and they decide, you know what, let's apply that to the home. Um, if I know how to be a painter, let me just do it in my home and help my home instead of paying somebody else to do that. If instead of going to buy bread, let me bake that in the home. If I'm a math person, I would rather teach my children math and every other subject, as a teacher. And the list goes on and on. Whatever they can apply, they may not apply every knowledge that they have, but whatever they can apply, they have a realigned that value to be diverted to the homes. Okay. Number two of that is what we call the cost of the juggle. The juggle in parentheses and sorry, quotes. Okay. They made up their minds, this group of women, that the workplace is really uh, an impossible place to navigate because having children, having a spouse, having a home, and then dealing with the workplace brouhaha, no, they do not want to deal with that. So that's why some of them, no matter how educated, no matter how skilled, they decide, no, we're going to sit home and do it at home. The other reason why some people do that is also economic reality. See, they also look at their purses and say, you know what? Even if I'm making, especially those who have lots of kids. So imagine what you pay for one kid out there, babysitters, after daycare school or all that. And if you have maybe three or four, you apply those. It exhausts the salaries that whatever it is that you're going to bring in. And so some spouses have looked at it, and some families put their heads together and say, you know what, the childcare cost is too much. Let's give these children a few years, and then when they are ready to go back to school, and we can pick them up on our way home from work, then we can go back to that. Some people have decided to take care of their children, stay at home till the children go to college or to high school and all that. And some have decided they don't want to go anywhere at all till the children have left the house and then they start going back to work. Whichever way, that is no good or bad or ugly part to all this. It's your decision. Let nobody tell you or shame you into saying, oh, one is better than the other. It is your decision. The good thing is that these are all possibilities out there. It's what you do with it and how you handle it. Okay. So let's look at their triumphs. So what did they get from it? The data out there, the information out there, and those that we talk to face say that direct influence of the mom being able to shape things, shape the young ones, shape the children's values, shape their bringing everything about them. It's what gives them joy. And we cannot doubt that. They are there every step of the way. Whatever the child wants from beginning in the morning till night, it's beyond the 24/7, job for some, but especially when you have many or you have a big household, that's what gives them joy because now they're able to keep an eye on the ball, like so to speak. The other triumph, apart from direct influence on the family, is operational control. These moms who stay at home, they believe that when it comes to budgeting for their families, when it comes to scheduling their everyday things, from school to the feeding and health and everything, to their household upkeep and everything, they have their hands on or the fingers on the pulse. So to them, that's fulfillment. Remember when we talked about the fulfillment of the one who goes to the office every day. The fulfillment, which is a personal fulfillment, their own is personal fulfillment for the stay-at-home mom is their own reality. Okay. Um, the other triumph that they have is elimination of split focus. They feel that if they were going to go to workplace, the focus that takes focus, they stay, the children take another focus, the spouse takes another focus, and maybe extended family takes another focus. That's everywhere. So, but when they are stay at home, there is no split focus. The focus is just home. And so everything is being done for everybody at home. This is where they apply everything that they have ever learned to the home. Those who did research will then bring research. The project management comes in, the scheduling aspect comes in. The sometimes they play, when Mother's Day comes around, we say that moms check all the boxes. This is where the checking of the boxes, they come to play that the person that goes to the office may not have the time to do that. But this other person decided that's what they want to do. And they may not be perfect in all of this, but that's their own value. So we don't know that. And number 4 of their triumph is flexibility. They can go whatever they want, whatever they want. They can move their schedules around and, be there for the family when whatever is needed. So they do that. But this could be all good, but then this has its own challenges, like everything else. Okay. The first one is identity shock. The data out there or the literature out there called it identity shock because um, one of the, few of the mothers, they say the shock comes from when somebody asks you out there, what do you do? Um, for those who have careers or professions, you say, I'm a this or I'm a that. But it's tough for the stay-at-home mom to say what they do, even if staying at home as a mom and doing all that is one of the toughest jobs in the world. But you can't get yourself to say that because um, it's you don't remember, you don't know what you are anymore. You used to be a lawyer, but at home, I don't know, telling somebody you are a lawyer without practicing law or doing whichever work there to makes you qualified to still be called that. So, which you still can call yourself, but some people who stay at home and as moms, they find it difficult to identify who they really are when they are doing that for their family. The other aspect is the intellectual gap. Some schools of thought call this the intellectual gap because the stuff that you thought you knew, it flies by because information is changing every day. So as a stay-at-home mom, some of them are busy trying to take care of their family. Remember the focus we talked about? But they don't get what else is going on out there as against those who go to the offices or anything. But, again, these things happen. So that intellectual gap of what they knew, even in their own old profession or their careers that they left behind to focus on their families, there could be a huge gap from what they knew to what is going on at that very minute that they're thinking about it. One of the biggest aspects also is the third one, the financial dependency. Remember the one that professional that went to the office went there because of financial independence. But the stay-at-home mom, one of the really tough things for them is that financial dependence because it's one income coming in, maybe the spouse is the only one bringing in money. And they have to depend on this spouse for everything. They ask for everything and all that. Sometimes it works out fine. Sometimes it's a tough thing, especially when that particular one income is no longer coming in and there's zero income coming in, then it's really tough. So that's a big one. Um, the another challenge that they mentioned was invisible labor trap. The invisible labor trap is when the job title stay at home mom uh, is being looked down on. The society does not recognize that as a really tough thing or as actually much. Maybe in some sectors, but majority of the time, oh, he's a stay-at-home mom. And people think you don't do anything. Say at home, mom, you are just watching TV all day or doing that. While some of the stay-at-home moms are really doing the hardest job ever. And, there's always this joke of, oh, I'd rather be at the office than being at home. And some of the people will joke, I'd rather be at home than being in the office. It depends on who you ask and who is cherishing what. But that is a real thing going on. The invisible labor trap is because you're not a this or a that, or you're not in this office or that, you're at home. Society looks down on you as what are you doing? You're a stay-at-home mom. But they don't know that is tough. The other aspect, this is the last one on the challenges, is the off-ramp penalty, what they call the off-ramp penalty. It is where if you were to go back, remember when I said some of them wait till their children are all gone and all that, and they won't go back to school or try to go back to work. Many people who are stay-at-home moms discover that at the end, they have to relearn skills or go back to school to sharpen the knowledge they already had at the beginning when they left the job market or decided not to go. Things have changed. So for you to be reabsorbed back, that's what they call, you're now off ramp. Okay. So you are being penalized that way because you decided to stay at home and take care of family. But the world did not stop. The world kept going and new things happened. So you got to start from the scratch, including the pay. So anywhere in the world, that is a reality. That is what happens. And there's no changing about that. So we now have seen the triumphs and the challenges. And despite all that, some moms will swear they don't want to do anything else but to focus on raising their kids. And today we see a lot of moms actually going beyond just taking care of the household, but doing homeschooling. They go to the government and get the syllabus and the curriculum, and they hunker down the ones they can do, and the ones they can hire, tutor to come and help once in a while. They do their best. So their work keeps expanding. Okay. But how do you cope if you are finding yourself in all these aspects and there are these challenges of um, that you're facing? So one of the things that is being recommended for this group is to seek outlets for intellectual stimulation. So you can maintain that by, as you take the kids to the library, get a book and read. As you register them for one or two things, get yourself in something to relearn or to get your knowledge renewed as you wait. So maintain that intellectual outlet to keep going. Some people find like group book reviews where people are assigned books or they get books and they talk about that. That is intellectual, recreation. You talk about world news or topics. Some people go take their children to playground where they meet other moms, and they talk about some things going on in the world, and it's good to do that. Formalize, some of the things that you could cope with is to make sure you keep an eye on the finances, and maybe as we put away things for the rainy day, that could help if at the time that only one income stops coming in. So what will happen is that you keep an eye and try to formalize what you can do in case something happens. Um, because there's no other paycheck coming in when the only one that is coming in, if there was one, stops. Okay. But the most important thing to keep sanity, to keep healthy, to not burn out, because that's one of the biggest things is the burnout. Because parents, the burnout is not just at work. Burnout can happen at home. They're asked to set boundaries, clear boundaries. This is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. Capacity. And the capacity is also trying to build in when you can, somebody called it, talk some adult language. If you have the little ones, baby ones, where you talk baby talk every day, you could go crazy. So um, they are recommending you maybe find adult talks, adult places where you can mix that up, um, find some groups. But most importantly, what can you do in a day? You can't do everything in a day. I have seen mothers who they want to be perfect wives, perfect mothers. They clean from morning till night. I don't know. Oh, it shouldn't be a 24/7 thing without scheduling yourself. The way you schedule yourself to go to work, schedule yourself at home because, um, take a nap when the children are at school, groom yourself. Some people let themselves go because they sit at home. And where am I going? Your child doesn't like you showing up there to school to pick them up, shabbily. This is why when you come to give them a hug, they will hide, you know. Um, so keep up with the Johnsons, groom yourself, be presentable, you know. Um, dress up each morning, get up each morning as if you are going somewhere, but in the kitchen, in your household, but get ready as everybody else will get ready. That will give you a schedule of the day than going through the routine again and again. So, and again, like we shared in episode 31 on preparation for this, you've got to plan before it happens. For my young ones, the young ladies who are, educated now, highly, have their professions or their skills, and they're getting ready to go into building families. This is when, before you go deep into that, talk to your significant other, talk to your potential husband or whoever, that if you agree that you guys are going to one person is staying at home. When I say that, because I've also seen some stay-at-home dads. That's an agreement, and society actually mocks them, which is wrong because it's a decision between them. They were like, "Oh, your wife goes to work and you stay home," and it's none of your business. The man and the woman made their, decisions. The man, cooks and cleans and takes care of everybody else, just like the woman does. It's a nuclear age we are in now that people, support each other whichever way. So we shouldn't look down on anybody as a stay-at-home XYZ, and so they are invincible. They are visible. They are doing the work that they opted to do. Okay? So having said that, I think we are going to um, stop this for today. And thank you very much for listening and for tuning in. The last aspect of this series will be to look at those who are educated. They are very educated, they are highly skilled, whatever they do, but they have decided they are not going to get married and they're not going to have children. So, what will be their own triumphs and tribulations? We're going to see to that in the next episode. Thank you. In the spirit of Ubuntu, we are because you are. Okay? Like sometimes I say it the other way around, but it's all the same meaning. We just exist for each other. So please subscribe and share with everybody else. And keep tuning in. I appreciate you. This is your host, that's Dr. Marcellina Ndidi saying